when you click on the SparkVue app on your phone, and you're not going to do that right now because you're not connected to anything right now. We're not in the middle of collecting data. I'm just going to demonstrate how to do this for you. When we click on the SparkVue app on the phone, it should take us to this screen. We're going to click on the Sensor Data button. Sensor Data button. Now, that'll take you to a screen that looks like this. Right now, we're not connected wirelessly to any carts. I want to connect to this cart that I have in my hand. So let's turn that cart on, and you'll see pretty quickly a little red light flashing here beside the Bluetooth symbol. That should pretty quickly pop up there on the screen. Now, when you're doing this, you may see 6, 7, or 8 of these carts pop up because there's other groups working around you. You want to make sure that you select your cart. So for me, the cart that I'm using is 354648. I'm going to select that one on my phone so that I can connect wirelessly to that blue cart that I had in my hand. That's going to connect in a second. There we are. We see all of these options here. Whatever is selected here, it doesn't really affect what data you're collecting. If you selected one of them or all of them, the same data will be collected. The difference is in what will be displayed. We want to display only position here. We don't want to display velocity. It will measure velocity and acceleration and force, but we don't want to display that on our screen because it's going to become too cumbersome if we do that. So I'm going to make sure that only position is checked off, and then I want to display it in the form of a table and a graph. There's multiple ways of displaying it on your screen. I don't want to pick this one, or this one. I want to pick table and graph. So I'm going to click on that, and then that should take me to a table and a graph. Now, right now, there's no data on there because I haven't collected any data. I haven't ran the experiment. I'm going to pick up my cart. Notice I have my cart upside down on the desk. Why did I do that? To keep it from rolling off. These carts, they're made out of plastic, but they cost $300 each because of all the sensors that are inside. If we allow this to roll off of a desk or a table, then it's probably going to wreck the sensors, and there's $300 up in smoke, right? I might break the plastic, but I'm more concerned about the sensors. If it's at any height at all, keep it upside down so it doesn't roll off. You'll also notice on this track, by the way, that I have stoppers on the end, right? I have stoppers on the end because I have this at a height. You're going to do yours at floor level, so it's not as big of a deal that we have stoppers, right? But still, maybe keep a foot at the end of it so that when it's rolling to the end, it doesn't roll off the end and collect dust in the bearings that are low friction right now and won't be so low friction if they collect dust in the bearings. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this cart. I'm going to put the cart down on the track. It doesn't really matter which way you put it down on the track. If I put it down this way and push it bumper first, we will get a positive velocity. If I push it this way, like with this thing that sticks out first, then I'll get a negative velocity. Doesn't matter. Don't care. Positive velocity, negative velocity, if you forget which way is which, doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Make sure your track is relatively level. This isn't quite level. If I was actually performing this experiment for real, I would make sure it was better. I know this isn't quite level because the cart starts moving on its own, right? So you maybe stick a few pieces of paper, fold it up or something underneath the end of it to make it a little bit more level. Now, the way I've got this position, I'm going to give it a little push this way like this. I'm going to get a negative velocity. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I just picked one at random. It's going to give me a negative velocity. Now, you can see the little green button at the bottom of the screen. That's your start button. We're going to start collecting data. There's always a little bit of a delay from the time that I press the start button until the time that it actually starts recording data. So what I want you to do is press that start button, be ready to give the cart a push, but wait till you see real-time data being plotted on the graph before you give it a push. Don't push it first and then see data. We want to see data on the graph and then give it a push. Got it? Don't make it a crazy hard push, but don't do it like this either. We don't want to, like this. Something like this is good. Like so that it's really moving. but not some crazy fast speed that it's going to go right through the bumper on the end, off the end and break the cart when it falls to the floor. Okay, I'm going to press the start button. You can see that there's no data, and now there's data. So let's give it a push. Stop it before it gets to the end. And you can see, then I'll press the red stop button on there. You can see what happened. We get some data here that's irrelevant, right? This is before I pushed it. We'll delete that later on. I'll show you how to do that once we've all collected our data. We also have some irrelevant data over here after I stopped it, right? We don't want that data either. We'll delete that stuff as well. I'll show you how to do that later on. This is the data we want, a straight line position time graph. It's moving at a constant velocity in the negative direction. That makes sense? So we'd have a constant negative velocity there. We're going to find out what that velocity is. Now, how are we going to use this in our actual lab? First of all, we have to send our data to our Google Drive. So whoever is using their phone with their app also needs the Google Drive app installed. When you do, you're going to click on the little share button in the top right-hand corner here, the little share button. Click on share data, and then it's going to give you some options. You want to pick Drive, Google Drive. Make sure you're logged into your school account. I am logged into my school account. You make sure you're logged into your Isidore school account. If you're logged into your personal account, log out of it, log back into your school account. Now, you're going to save this in a folder. Let's click on My Drive, and let's click on My Drive again, and let's put it in a particular folder. It would be a good idea here for you to create a new folder that is a physics data folder, because the next time you do a lab, you're going to go through this process again. You want to be able to find that data in a specific place. So I'm going to create a folder here with this button up here, and I'm going to title that. I'm going to show you a little trick here. I'm going to title that folder 1 space 1 space 1 space 1. The reason I put ones in front of important folders is because it brings it to the top of my folder list. Now, I've already got a bunch of ones, so I have to go 4 ones to bring it to the top of my folder list. Does that make sense? You don't necessarily need to do that. I don't really care if you do that, but just a little trick to get it to the top. I'm going to call it physics data. I've created that folder. Now it's empty right now. So I'm going to click Save here. And then I'm going to click in the top right-hand corner, Upload. And now that's going to be saved to my Google Drive folder. Once we have that saved to our Google Drive folder, you can either with your phone or with your Chromebook that you're going to get at this point when you're done collecting your data, share it with your partners. Got that? Share it with your partners. Now, listen carefully. I'll remind you of this when we go to actually plot graphs and use the Chromebooks here, okay? But listen carefully. Once it's shared with your partners, everybody, your partners need to do this, and you need to do this if you've collected the data. Everybody needs to make a copy of the data and make sure that copy is saved within your folder, within the folder that you've created. You will never work off of the original file. You will always work off of the copy of the file. Does that make sense? So if Olivia is collecting the data on her phone, sharing it with her partners will save a copy of that file that she shared. She's not sharing a copy, she's sharing the original file. And then everybody else is making a copy of that, saving the copy in their folder, and then Olivia will go back and make a copy of the original file as well. And then all of the partners in that group will work off of their version of the copy. Nobody will work off of the original. That serves two purposes. One, if we're all working off of the same original file, then the work that Connor does shows up in the work that in Olivia's work as well, right? So one person does the work and it shows up in everybody's file. If we're all working off of copies, then we all have our individual files to work off of. That make sense? Okay. Second of all, it leaves us with an original unaltered version in case we need to go back and check something. Something's not working out. Oh, but I've deleted a whole bunch of data. Well, I still have the original data back here that I can go back and look at. I haven't deleted all that stuff because I've deleted it from my copy. Make sense?